So tonight is our last night with Leslie. It has been a wonderful 4 weeks, and I know that we have seen such huge growth potential in our team because of these calls. And not only that, I've seen a depth in our leaders where they're just getting inspired by, I always call it tough love, because you teach like I love being taught. And so that has really resonated with so many of our leaders, and they have said that over and over again. They love that tough love because it's real. It's what we need to hear, and it has really hit home with a lot of them. And our team has literally exploded, and many of those leaders are from this call. So I know it's been a super blessing to us, and I am just forever indebted to you. And cannot wait to meet you at some big network marketing convention where we see each other, and I'll come up and give you a hug and give you my gratitude then. But I'm going to give you the floor and let you take over and share with what you have on your heart tonight for us, and really looking forward to this.
Wonderful. Thank you, my friend Krista. Okay, so I've been getting marvelous reports from Krista on how y'all were growing. I think she said, you added 170 new ambassadors so far in June. So outstanding to everybody. Well done. That's not chopped liver. It would be awesome to go back and see how many came in May, how many came in April, and start tracking. That's a great gauge that you should be tracking as your group grows. And so couple of things. Month end, it's June 26th. So we want to be focused on month end, definitely. So what does that mean? Okay, it means a few things. Number one, most especially if you've already reached your goals, if you've already reached your points, if you already have your pay as title in, most especially if you've already reached your goals for June, I want you to do more. That's what I want you to learn how to do, that we never stop. We take the last 3 or 4 or 5 days of the month, every single month, and push as if something really big is at stake, like a promotion and title, a trip, a bonus, right? We talked about this, developing that muscle memory, but that only comes from every single month, closing the month on purpose. Now I know convenience orders, monthly auto ships play a big role with your business. It did my business as well. We used to call them AROs, auto reorders. So yours are convenience orders. So for many of you, you sponsor new ambassadors, or you have existing ambassadors, and perhaps their convenience order isn't set up yet. So I want you to understand the skill involved in giving them the benefits of having their convenience order set up. If you're newer ambassadors tend to shy away from that. So what are the reasons why you wouldn't set up a CO? Do you call it CO? Mm-hmm. Okay, so what would be a reason? Let's talk amongst ourselves here. What would be a reason why you wouldn't set up somebody's CO? Tell me, why?
I think some people just have a fear of blocking people into something the next month, even though it actually adds to their growth for the next month or their success in the product. It's a blockage.
Right. You're doing them a disservice. Remember, I had nutritional products when I was in the field, right? If I could think back, I had a minimum, this is my own personal goal, different pay plan, and we talked volume instead of points, but I had a minimum of $5,000 of volume in auto ships every month with a 30-day auto ship product. That was my minimum. I never let it go under that. Okay, so I learned the language. See, it's not about me though. It's about my customers. I owe it to them to be on auto ship. Don't you have a program? Don't they get a discount for being on auto ship? Okay, so you want them to save, so you must learn to posture this the day you enroll them. Say, look, of course what you're going to do, let me tell you what most of my customers do, right? Let me tell you what most of my customers do. We immediately set up your convenience order. Why do we call it a convenience order? Because it's a convenience for you. You want to get, now go back to their results. You want to get blah, 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 whatever their personal results are. And so to ensure that, you owe yourself at least 90 days consistent on the products, 3 to 4 months consistent on the products. And I don't want to charge you retail. I want you to get the discount. I don't want you to have to mess around with it. I want you to have it shipped to you automatically. You can cancel it anytime, but let's just get it set up for your sake, right? For your convenience. You must learn that posture because it is for their benefit. You guys know, they deserve 30, 60, 90 days on their products. Don't you agree? In order to get the results that they're looking for, 30 days isn't enough. And why should you be messing around with them? And why should they be messing around and having to do it, even think about it the next month? So if you posture it as a convenience, they will see it as a convenience. And what are we talking about here? Like, what's an average size order? $100? $80? What's your average order? $100.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's not like you're taking their mortgage money, right? So you're so afraid, you're so desperate to get a customer, and now you're doing them a disservice by setting them up on convenience order. No, 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 no. So the language is, let me tell you what most of my customers do. They immediately enroll for our convenience order. Why? Because it's a convenience and it's a discount, and we have proof, which you do. It's been proven that the more consistent you are in your products, the greater your results. And that's what I'm all about, customer. I want you to see the results. And we're all so busy. I don't want you messing around with this. I don't want you missing your order. I don't want you paying retail. Hell, I could sell it right now. I just talked myself into a CO. All right. So you owe it to them. Well, it's because, like I said, for 16 years, I had ARO. And so again, I wouldn't be so proficient at it if I didn't really feel it was a benefit for them. It is a benefit for them. Okay. To me, I would recommend you take this posture. I gave them two options. Hey, customer, I got two options for you. I could sell it to you retail, but let me tell you, I prefer to sell it to you as a convenience order. I'd much rather have you be one of my preferred customers. Do you call them preferred customers?
We do. The convenience order is set for ambassadors.
Okay, so so this is okay. So two things. So your customers have an auto ship as well, correct? So they can buy it retail or they can buy it at the discount. Oh, well, any ambassador. Now, is this a wholesale buying ambassador or a business building ambassador?
They're combined as the same.
Okay, okay. So anyone looking at the business, if they're not on CO, I'm sorry. They are on CO. If I'm going to work with them and train them and coach them, and if they're going to get my time and energy, part of the getting started process is let's get your CO set up. Like, that's non-negotiable.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you guys want to really take that stand. With your business builders, they must be on a CO. Why? Because I want them consistent on the products. Why? They want to develop their story. Why? That's an investment in doing business. Their story is an investment in doing business. Their improved health is their investment in doing business. So if I'm going to give them my time and training, they're on CO. That just goes without saying. Right, so I misunderstood that one. So are you telling me you guys are training and working with people who are not on CO and they say they want to build a business? Are you guys nodding yes at that? Well, I would stop that right now.
I have a question.
Like done. Okay, I was thinking customers. Okay, if you're going to build a business, you're on CO. Part of your getting started, we do this and this and this, right? So we sign up your CO, we package your store. Like, that's step number one before we even start training. They must earn training. Part of that, as far as I'm concerned, is they got to be on their auto ship. I mean, forget it. All right. That's really important. So your posture around that has got to be rock solid. Right? So let me tell you what our next steps are. First step, we're going to set you up on your auto ship. Why would you think that is getting them into something that they're not interested in? They just told you that they want to build a business. So the first thing we want to do is make sure they're consistent on the product so that they develop their story. That's for their sake, not my sake. Plus, it's a qualifier for me. I know I really have a business builder. See, it's kind of mushy with your company because you have non-business building ambassadors, right? So I would take that solid stance for their sake. And that duplicates just like everything else. If you don't teach them the benefits and the reasons why to get on CO. Have you ever seen people that start building a business and they're not getting people on auto ship? Because that duplicates.
Yeah.
All right. So step number one, dude, is we set up your CO. Done and done. If you want to build a business, this is the next step. This is your monthly investment. Now, you can also come from the fact that, and you know what? We only need a minimum of 100, right? a minimum of 100. Now, show of hands, you can put it by your face. How many of you spend more than that every month because you can? Show of hands. How many of you spend more than the minimum because you can? Everybody. Like if we had an audience, I would say, okay, how many spend more than the minimum because you can, right? So your new business builder doesn't even know that. Say, look, you start with 100, we'll just start with the minimum. But if you're going to be like most of us, you're going to have way more than that every month, but that'll be your choice as you build your business. But we're going to start with, and then whatever products we've decided are the products for them to start on. Does this make sense? Like that's non-negotiable as far as I'm concerned. All right. Oh my gosh. I thought you were talking about your customers. Okay. So and it's the same thing for their convenience. So they're not messing around with that. So that the time we're spending is talking to new people and signing up new ambassadors and building a business. Okay. So I want you to get rock solid on that. And then for your customers, all the same language. I mean, auto ship drives your residual. Okay. From your benefit, auto ship drives your residual. Auto ship drives the residual income because people are choosing to stay on those products every month. So it's how you posture it. That first, it's for their benefit. Consistency, discount, story, investment in their business. So it's first about what's in it for them, whether they're a customer or whether they're an ambassador. Secondarily, I want you as professionals to understand that's what drives the residual. Okay, can I help you with this anymore, or have we talked about this?
That's good, yeah.
Yeah, do we see it differently? I mean, this is a non-negotiating. 100 points for to create your own story. I mean, that's non-negotiable. The faster they can create their product results, the greater the commitment, the consistency, the story. Yeah. All right, and what a nominal investment. What a nominal investment. Okay. All right. That's good. All right. Let's talk about prospecting and sponsoring. That's what I want to tie this all together with today. So if I had to come up with a word or a concept to talk about before we got into prospecting and sponsoring, I would bring up time management. That seems to be a challenge for so many new direct sellers. They resist time management. They resist scheduling their hours. So my belief is if you don't calendar your direct selling hours, because most of you build your business in very part-time hours, and the people that you're sponsoring are building in part-time hours, they don't calendar it because they believe it's going to limit them. Right? I got a full-time job and 3 kids and 2 dogs, and I don't know when I'm going to fit this in. When you don't calendar it, you unintentionally create what I call a hobby mentality. It's just not that important. You know, when I'm in front of an audience, I'll say to the women, show of hands, how many of you color your hair? So many of the women raise their hands. And I say, okay, is it in your calendar? And everybody starts laughing because the answer is, of course it's in our calendar because we don't miss that appointment, right? And I don't even show great, but I don't miss that appointment, okay? Because it's important, so it's in my book. I would think our direct selling business should be every bit as important as anything else that goes in our book. But people don't because they think it's going to limit them. And I'm telling you right now, if you begin to calendar your direct selling hours, it's going to liberate you. It will free you. It will keep you from having a hobby mentality. Because think about it. If you don't calendar your hours, it's so easy not to take action. It's so easy to make excuses. It's too easy not to find the time. Well, gosh, I was busy doing this, and I was busy doing this, and I was busy doing this, and oh gosh, the day got away from me. No, you chose to let the day get away from you because you did. Now, then they'll say, well, Leslie, every day's different. Every day's different. I don't work the same hours every day. It's not like a 9 to 5. I can't schedule in 9 to 11 every day or 1 to 2 every day. And my answer is fine. Whenever you can do it, put it in the calendar. So maybe it is 9 to 10 on Monday, Wednesday, Fridays. Maybe it's a block in the afternoon, Tuesday, Thursdays. You're working around the kids' schedule, your yoga, whatever, your work. That's okay. Calendar it. Calendar it. So you treat your business like a business. Put it in the book. Okay, so we want to open with time management. I don't want you treating this like a hobby. There is a lot at stake here, and I want you to take advantage of it. So how about just for the next week? Actually, it's already the 26th. How about for the month of July, you make a commitment to calendar your hours of operation? And you might hold yourself accountable with your sponsor. Let her know. Either take a snapshot, a picture on your phone and say, here's my calendar. Send it in. Allow yourself to be held accountable for having hours. All right, so time management. Now, from a prospecting, sponsoring standpoint, we start with prospecting, talking to new people. Now, for most people, I think what slows people down, it's really interesting. With today's technology, you think people would be going faster than ever before. But in some cases, they're not. And why is that? I think in some cases, today's technology is actually slowing people down. I think they're hiding behind the social media and they don't even realize it. Okay, when I talk to people about prospecting, and I ask them, how many people are you talking to every week? Like, oh gosh, I'm talking to so many people. Well, you know what's actually the case is they're messaging so many people, or they're texting so many people, or they're emailing so many people. They're not talking to people. So I want you to track between now and the end of July. If you really want to be a champion, how many outreach? Like, are you actually even reaching out to people every day? And if so, how many texts, how many messages, how many emails? I don't mind you starting that way. But then I want you to compare that number to how many people are you actually talking to? Do you actually get the opportunity to talk to every day, every week? For most of you, it's going to fall under the pathetic category, and you don't even realize it. For many of you, it's going to be a couple of people a week. Now, if you're talking to 1 or 2 people a week, that's a pace. And we call it slow. Okay? That's just slow. And I know you want to go faster than that, but you're not aware because you don't have the data. Once you do the numbers, you're going to go, wow. Number one, I'm not even reaching out to enough people. Or you're going to find that a vast majority of the people you're reaching out to, messaging, texting, emailing, are the same people that haven't responded. So if a majority of the people you go back to every week are the same people that have been ignoring you or telling you no or won't get off the fence, you're going slow there as well. Now you're looking at each other, you're looking at me like, how is she reading my mind? Because I did this for 16 years, okay? And I've been training it for almost that many more, all right? So here's the key. You can use technology to reach out. You make sure that you're reaching out to new people every day, every week. I'm not saying don't do the follow-up. Do the follow-up, but make sure a majority of your outreach are new people. Certainly follow up with the people that are in your funnel. And then you track how many people you're actually talking to. That data is going to change the way you prospect. Because remember, people buy us before they buy our products or our service. They buy us. And the only way we can effectively transfer our passion is on the telephone or face-to-face or on a Zoom even or a Skype even. Okay, so the analogy I have for the outreach via text and messaging and whatnot, okay, if you go back to the old days when I was in the field, we used to pass out cassettes. Now, if you don't know what that is, ask your mother. Okay, so we used to hand out these cassettes that have this little brief story that talked about our products and our company and whatnot. Now, I could pass out 1,000 cassettes, but if I didn't capture their contact information and make the follow-up calls, nothing would happen. That's how I look at, I could Facebook 1,000 people. If I don't follow up and talk to anybody, I'm going slow. Same analogy. Okay, so I want you to track that content. I want you to track that data, okay? So networking, people go like, okay, who am I going to reach out to? So a couple of things here. First of all, I want you to realize that you do know people who are not on your Facebook page. Remember that. And you know some really cool people who are not active on Facebook. So I would recommend you make a strategic list of 30 people. They could be on your Facebook or not. 30 people that you know who are really cool and sharp and fun and successful and connectors. I don't know who tied charity to direct selling, but for so many people, you go look for the poorest, brokest, neediest people that you know. Okay, they're going to find you. Okay, now usually I say that after I've told my story of how I lost all my money and went bankrupt, so that you don't think I'm an insensitive person, an elitist, and who doesn't know what it's like to not be financially set. All right, I do know what it's like to have hardship financially. I lived it, and it was horrible. Okay, and what I did after my first husband and I went bankrupt is I worked really, really hard with my direct selling business and got my financial life back. So I'm not insensitive, all right? I'm not insensitive, but I'll tell you the lesson. The reason I talk about my BK, my bankruptcy, when I'm in stage in front of the audience, it's not that I like dredging that up, and I don't enjoy talking about it, and it's still, God, it was 1991. And it's still embarrassing, but I bring it up just so I can tell you that when I started my direct selling business, I did not go out and look for every other adorable, bankrupt woman I could find. That wasn't who I was looking for. So I am sensitive if people are financially in a bad place, but that's not who I want you to go out and look for. And it's psychological. It's called sponsoring down. Everybody does it. There's books written on it that you figure out where you are on the socioeconomic scale, and then you go talk to people equal to or less than, because it makes you feel good, right? It makes you feel good. I mean, they've proven this. And you're not even consciously aware of it. You're not comfortable talking to people who are more successful than you, or perhaps make more money than you or whatnot, because you're not comfortable, or you make stuff up. Well, I don't think she'd care. I don't think you'd care. I don't think. Okay, change that. I'm going to challenge you to sponsor up. I want you to make a list of people who are equal to or greater than. Smart people recognize a smart business. And your plexus business is hot. So they're going to recognize that. So don't keep sponsoring down. Make a list of the really cool, successful people that you know and give them an opportunity to take a look at your plexus business. You hear stories all the time of successful people making six figures joining your plexus business, don't you? I mean, there's stories all over the place. Health professionals coming in, nurses, accountants, teachers. You hear this all the time. Successful people are coming on board. It's not just people who have no money. Okay, so I don't know where this mindset comes from. I want you to shift that mindset. Please nod that you understand what I'm saying and that I'm saying it clearly and that you don't think I'm an elitist. All right. I may be a little bit of elitist, but I don't mean to be in this conversation. All right. So who are we going to talk to? Successful, sharp, cool people. That's who I want you to think about. Now, networking. How are you going to network? There's a couple of different networking avenues, and I would recommend that you take part in all of them. So one is social networking, which many of you have mastered that, right? Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, Snapchat. There's all these variety of ways that you can utilize social media. I want you to utilize social media. You'd be pretty silly if you didn't. Here's my caveat. Do not hide behind it. That's what's slowing down most people. They're hiding behind the social media and they're in denial. They're really not talking to anybody. It's all virtual and it will slow you down. Okay, so use social media on your terms, Okay, a second method of networking that perhaps you may or may not be using is community networking. Now, I love community networking. I'm talking about leads groups, networking groups, BNI, lay tip, leads. All you need to do is Google networking group in your city. Okay, so networking group, was it Fredericton? And you would see these groups, and they meet weekly. Now, Mark and Angie, I would say that you two go into two different groups. Like, let Mark get into a group and you get into a group, and double dip would be brilliant. Okay, so for the rest of you, find a group. One is all you need because there's only so many leads to go around. And these are groups that meet either for breakfast or lunch. They meet weekly, and there's one of every category. So you would be the health and nutrition category. Some groups allow you to classify yourself as direct sellers, some don't. You don't go into these groups to sponsor everybody. You go in to build relationships, to support them in building their business. You'll move a lot of product. You'll get a lot of referrals. And the most important benefit, well, equally important than a lot of referrals and a lot of product, is your social skills are going to develop. See, I don't know you. For most of you, meeting people and developing relationships is not something that you had to do in your work environment. And so a weekly networking group, your social skills just get polished to a high shine. I mean, your regular participation, your ability to meet people, tell your name, ask some questions, get their story, tell your story, make an appointment, follow up, ask for referrals. Those social skills expand dramatically by weekly participation in a networking group. I'm a huge fan. So I would definitely recommend you consider that. Now, most people don't give it enough time. Like, well, I was in a leads group and nothing happened. Well, how long did you go? 3 months. Well, that's not long enough. All right. You got to go give it a year and show up and participate. So you not only show up consistently, you want to give good leads if you want to get good leads. If you're someone who just pops in every once in a while and never delivers leads, there are other people in the group know it. I'm like, shit, she's not in it. She doesn't care, right? You've got to prove that you're a contributing member of the group, and it'll pay you back in spades, and you'll meet wonderful people. My hairdresser to this day, 20 years now, maybe more, I met in a leads group when I was still in the field. Deborah. Okay. So a networking group. So we've got social networking. We have community networking. And then the third type is lifestyle networking. That's when you're out and about in the community and you just naturally learn to authentically meet people. You meet them in line. You meet them, sitting at the concert. You meet them at the bank. You meet them at the restaurant. Okay, lifestyle networking. Now, the key here is learning to take a sincere interest in other people, right? I practice this for so many years. I'm still quite good at this. And it's because I sincerely like people. I like meeting people and I like hearing their story. So when you authentically care about people, like on the airplane, if I'm in the mood to talk to somebody, I can get the whole story in 10 minutes, right? I always meet the flight attendants if it's a long flight because I have to go up and stretch my legs and march for a little bit. And so I get their whole story. How long have you been flying and how do you like it? Because I care. It's not from any personal gain, but even when I was building a team, I never took it from a personal gain. It was like, if I shine my light out authentically and take a sincere interest in people, I'm nice. People like me. And then I have an opportunity to talk to them. So it's not about what's in it for me. It's about me taking a sincere interest in them. And then usually I will get the opportunity to follow up, ask for referrals, tell them my story, tell them who I'm looking for, build it from there. Okay, so lifestyle networking. You can't force it. Again, I saw an interview with Jane Fonda about 5 years ago, and she said something I thought was just beautiful. She said when she's out in the world, her focus is to be more interested than interesting, right? More interested in people than, hey, it's all about me, which, as Jane Fonda, she could make a case for making it all about her, right? Because people probably want to know all about her. She goes about in the world trying to be more interested than interesting. I like that a lot. Okay. So we've got this networking. Now, the whole idea of the consistent networking is to be filling your funnel. Now, many of you know about the prospecting funnel concept. If you don't, I'm going to take 1 or 2 minutes here and share it. But more importantly, I want to give you the strategies for working the funnel. Okay, so what is the funnel principle? Okay, think of a funnel. Think of a funnel, right? Wide at the top, right? And kind of comes down to a narrow neck. So ideally, we're putting new people in the funnel every day. Every day we're dropping people in our plexus funnel. So they're going into the funnel every day. While they're in the funnel, they're taking a look at either your products and or your business. And so ultimately they will drop out of the bottom of the funnel as a customer or an ambassador or as a referral. Maybe not now, maybe call me later, maybe never call me again, whatever. Okay, so here are the strategies for the funnel. There's 2 strategies. Strategy number 1 has 2 parts. So strategy number 1, 2 parts. Fill it and keep it full. Fill it and keep it full. For most of you, your funnel is so empty, we could yodel through it, right? You could yodel through it. That's not good. That means you're out of business. Okay, so we don't want an empty funnel. Okay, so strategy number 1, fill it and keep it full. Strategy number 2 is to condense or shorten the time period they're in the funnel, right? To condense or shorten the time period they're in the funnel. What's next? What's next? How do we move them through the funnel? What's next? We do a 3-way call. What's next? We invite them to a sip and see. What's next? They look at a video. What's next? We sit down one-on-one. What's next? We ask for the order. Bam, 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 bam. We're moving them through the funnel. We're trying to shorten or condense the time in the funnel. Does this make sense? Nod yes. Okay? So here's what can happen without awareness. And it happens every day with newer direct sellers. Well, even with experienced people. Here's what can happen if we lose the awareness. You get 1 or 2 or 3 people in your funnel. So what are you thinking to yourself? Hey, I got 1 or 2 or 3 cool people in my funnel. So what do? You stop prospecting. You wait until you see what happens till there's 1, 2, or 3 cool people. Now, what if 1 comes out as a customer, 1 comes out, maybe gives you a referral, and 1 comes out and doesn't care? Now what do you have? An empty funnel. And now what happens? It's like starting all over again every time. It's excruciating, number 1, and it's slow, number 2. So the moral of the story is, do not slow down your prospecting pace to the decision-making pace of those few people in your funnel. While they're making their decision, you are still adding new people. Does this make sense? Say yes. Yes. This is key, and it happens all day long, and people don't know why they can't get into a rhythm. It's because they're in these starts and spurts and stops and spurts and stops and spurts and stop. I get a few people in my funnel, then I stop. Then I start all over again. Get a few people in my funnel, then I stop. It will take all the fun out of it. So you want to get into a rhythm of consistently putting people in your funnel. You've all sponsored ambassadors before. Think about it. In most cases, there was activity 30, 60, 90 days prior to the day of enrollment, correct? So if we understand that it takes consistent activity to get that enrollment, I want you to understand that it's only through consistently talking to new people, consistently putting new people in your funnel, that you will consistently sponsor new ambassadors. Does this make sense? So you don't want those spurts and stops and spurts and stops. You want consistency. Now, you might go into short-term massive action, right? 3 days of high level of activity, then it's back to consistency. We never stop. You don't want an empty funnel. You don't want an empty funnel. Okay, so the funnel principle is key. So I want each of you to think about, how full is your funnel? Every time I ask that, I always think that'd be a great name for a book. How full is your funnel? How full is your funnel? For most of you, not to the level necessary to meet your goals. In fact, bottom line, from a prospecting standpoint, for most people who are not satisfied with the pace of their business, their prospecting pace, meaning the number of new people they're talked to, is nowhere near the level necessary to reach the goal they say they want to reach. I mean, that's just it. No magic bullet, but that's it right there. That's it right there. So focus on the consistency. This is why the networking group will support you in meeting new people. You've got to get out of the house. You've got to get out of the house. You must be out in the community in creative ways, branding yourself as an expert with your company and an expert in your profession. Now, these people who tell me they're going to lifestyle network, I'm going to go to the mall and meet people. Bullshit. You're going to go to the mall and shop. All right. I don't buy that. I never have. I never will. Okay. You just don't go randomly out into the universe. Now, granted, you're randomly out into the universe all the time and learning to have your antenna up and meet people authentically. I get that. Don't miss an opportunity. But to say I'm going to the mall to build my business, I never did buy that one, and I never will buy that one. So a networking group, working a list, asking for referrals, getting into opportunities to meet new people, not missing opportunities to meet and talk to new people. And again, we talked about in an earlier class, why do you miss opportunities? You don't have your story down. You're not prepared. So you don't say anything. Like, you're coming into contact with potential leads every single day. Now, whether you're capturing them or missing them is up to you. Is up to you. I'll tell you a story. When I was still in the field, I remember one day I needed, I can't remember why. I think we had bought a house or something. I needed something notarized, and I needed it really quickly. So I ran into the bank. I talked to this gal. She was really nice. She dropped everything, took me to the table. She notarized everything for me, and she was just super, really did a super job. I grabbed the paper, and I go racing out the door. And I'm like in the doorway going, God, she's awesome. I go back. By the time I go back to her desk, she's already on the phone. She's already on the phone. But as I took her card, old days when we had business cards before everybody had a phone, but still, I took her card and she put her phone on the thing. She goes, what? I said, no, keep on your phone. I'm going to call you. Right? So I had her card. So I immediately, when I got home, I sent her an email and I thanked her. Gosh, thank you for dropping everything and thank you for your terrific service. And you know what? I really want to talk to you. You would be perfect. You would be perfect for my business, and or the way you operate today, I bet you know people who would be perfect for my business. I'd love just 10 minutes of your time. 10 minutes of your time. I'm going to give you a call. And I scheduled a call and I talked to her. I took 10 minutes. I told her what I got. Now, she didn't sponsor in, but she became a customer. And she was a long-time customer. Hell, she could still be on auto ship for all I know. You never know. Right? So you come into contact with people all the time. Okay? So keep your antenna up. And I've got tons of stories of people like that who actually did sponsor in and join my team and build a business. So, but I have too much to share with you today. All right, so there's sponsoring. So if I was going to come up with a word for sponsoring, my word would be consistency. Consistency. But that's why I made that point that the only way that you can consistently sponsor is if you're consistently prospecting and talking to people. And with your company, you want to have a focus on consistently sponsoring business building ambassadors. Right? Now, you can sponsor your wholesale buying ambassadors. For sure, you're going to get either of them on your CO, for sure, for all the benefits for them. And again, I see it as a qualifier. I see that as a qualifier, right? As to who deserves my time. If somebody wants to get trained and wants to start building a business right away, I see that CO as a qualifier for sure. Just like making time is a qualifier. Just like making a list is a qualifier. Just like being coachable. Getting on your CO would fall under my being coachable category. Would you not agree, Krista? I mean, that's just part of being coachable. That's part of our system. This is what we do. Right? This is what most successful ambassadors do, right? Learn that language. Let me tell you what most successful ambassadors do. bam, 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 and bam. That's what we do. Don't play small for them. They'll play small for themselves. Your job is to hold them up for the possibilities. Okay, so consistency, really in the prospecting is going to lead to consistency in sponsoring. Now, I don't want you to be complacent in a month you don't sponsor, but there's a difference between beating yourself up. I don't want you to beat yourself up either, but I don't want you to be complacent, like, oh, well, not a big deal. Yeah, it is a big deal. If you want to get to that next level, if you want to promote and title, if you want to build a successful business, if you want to set an example for your team, you must learn to sponsor consistently. Now, I'm not looking for 10 every month, but your goal should be for consistency, definitely, and set that example and get into that rhythm. Okay, one way to figure this, how to do this, is to learn your ratios. So what do I mean? There's a couple of different ratios. So if it were me building a Plexus business, one ratio I would figure out, and the way to figure out it's really easy. You don't need a spreadsheet, just paper and pencil, but you can do it on a spreadsheet. Okay, how about between now and the end of July? If every day you tracked just this information, track the number of people you reach out to, okay, the number of people you reach out to, of those people, how many do you get to talk to? So you're going to have a ratio now. Maybe it's 1 in 10. Maybe it's 3 in 10. If you really start focusing on talking to people, it could be 4 or 5 in 10. And remember when we talked about move them from text to phone quicker, right? We talked about that in last week's call, right? So how many people do I reach out to? Of those people, how many do I actually get to talk to? Of those people, how many do I get to talk to about the business? Or at least deliver the balanced message, both products and business. Of those people, how many do I sponsor as an ambassador? And with your company, I would designate the difference between a wholesale buying ambassador and someone who jumps into the business right from the very beginning. So now you're going to have a ratio. I've got to reach out to X amount of people to be able to talk to X amount of people to sponsor X amount of people. It's going to change everything. Let's say 1 out of 12 and you sponsor 1 out of 12. Let's just say that was your ratio. If it was 1 out of 12, here's the benefit of knowing your ratio. Number one, you never get caught up in that, oh my gosh, I don't know what's going on. Am I saying something wrong? I mean, nobody's sponsoring. I'm doing something wrong. I lost my juju. I don't know what's going on. And we start beating ourselves up when it's not that you don't know what to say or you've lost the energy, right? You haven't lost the magic. You just flat out aren't talking to enough people. So you could, instead of beating yourself up, you go, well, if I'm 1 out of 13, shit, I've only talked to 5. Let's keep going. It keeps you moving. That's the power of that ratio. Now, if you really want to be a champion, okay, if you want to build to ruby and senior ruby and emerald and higher, sapphire, like if you really want to move up the ranks to diamond, then you take that ratio and you add another component to it. Okay, if you're a brand newbie now, don't worry about this, but for those of you that want to be a champion, I would take, of the business building ambassadors that I sponsor, how many do I get to silver? And in what time frame? Do I get them into silver in their first 30 days, or are we fiddle farting around with the products for 90 days? I don't know. I want the ratio. Out of every 10 business building ambassadors I sponsor, how many do I get 3 to silver in the first 30 days. And then you're going to get some later, right? Because not everybody jumps off the dime. But see, just that, okay, for those of you thinking like a business person, that data right there tells me a lot. Of the number of business building ambassadors that I sponsor, this is how many I get to silver in the first 30 days. This is how many I get to silver within their first 90 days. Does this make sense? You follow where I'm going here as far as tracking pace? And then if you really want to take it up a notch, of the business building ambassadors that I sponsor, how many do I get on Fast Start Gold? And you're going to have another ratio. Is it 1 out of 30? Is it 1 out of 20? For some of you, it's 0 out of, I don't know how many, but that can change with awareness. See, this is interesting stuff. It's not complicated. You don't need technology. You need a document. You can do it on an Excel spreadsheet. It would probably be the easiest way, or a Google Doc, or hell, you can just do it on a paper and a pencil. But if you get that data, it will drive your behavior. You won't question. This is why I say the data never lies. You won't question, how come this isn't happening? Why isn't my business going faster? You look to the data. It will make you happy. It will bring you more joy because you're going to understand what's going on here. Does this make sense? Let's have some nods, right? Like, I'm all about the data and I'm all about keeping it fun. Sometimes people are not satisfied with the pace of their business, but because they don't look at the data or have been shown how to do this, they just wonder what's going on. Well, nobody wants to hear about this, and I just can't sponsor anybody, and I can't build a business. And then when you look at the data, well, shit, you only talk to 3 people. We have to talk to more people, right? The 3 isn't enough. 10 isn't enough. 50 isn't enough. How many's enough? You'll know when you find your runners. Some people find runners early in the game. I didn't find my first player for 2 years. Like, I had wannabe players, but my first Leslie, I didn't find for 2 years. I know people who find them their first month. And I was not coachable in the beginning. I learned to be more coachable. I wasn't as consistent. That's why I can be so passionate about that funnel, because that was me. Get some people in, and I waited until somebody did something because I didn't get it, right? So you learn through the years. So if you can pick up what we're talking about now and put it into practice now, your business already, Krista tells me, many of you see an uptake in your business. I mean, imagine we're coming into the end of the second quarter, coming into the end of June. Take what you did first and second quarter, you could double your activity third and fourth quarter, triple it, quadruple it. It depends on you and your activity now with a different way of looking at this, right? And just depend on the data. Is this good? Okay, really. It is good. Whether you think so or not, I'm telling you, it's good stuff. All right. And it will move your business forward. Although you're nodding, which is good. All right. So the focus on always is what I call this 2-prong approach, right? And I coach this no matter the product, service, company, 2-prong approach, right? In terms of building your business, prong number 1, your personal prospecting and sponsoring. Have a sticky by your desk that says, I pay myself first. I pay myself first. Prospecting and sponsoring. Pick up the numbers. Fill your funnel. Talk to more people. Your story is compelling. Your products are unique. Your company's outstanding. Okay? Prong number 1, your personal prospecting and sponsoring. The second part is learning to work with the right people. That's harder. That's harder, right? Learning to work with the right people. Talk to your sponsor or someone in your upline and identify the people that you've sponsored at this point who truly are in action, have their hand up, that their actions are matching their words. Now, you have a lot of people who say they want to build a business, but they don't do anything. And these are going to be the people who are the sickest, the neediest, the most broke, the biggest excuses, and they're going to be all talk and no action. Now, I'm not saying make any kind of judgment. My point to you is, are you prepared to slow down your business, your success to the pace of people who are not prepared for whatever reason at this point? They're not prepared to move. And see, you're coming up with all these reasons. Well, gosh, if I just say the right thing and I just got to pour into them more and I got to give them the right motivation and I got to make it happen for them, right? No, you don't. Okay, now you're going to be open. You're going to always be there for them. I'm not saying hate them, and I'm not saying never talk to them. I'm saying don't slow down your pace to the pace of inactive people. And that's what many of you do. You're trying to motivate them. And that's not your job to motivate people. What you want to do is find motivated people. There's a difference. You're not looking to motivate people. You're looking for motivated people, people who will act, who will be coachable, who will talk to people, who will get their results, who will act. Now, I know there's a time frame for many people. They start up very slow, no belief, want to get their product story and whatnot. That's fine. They can go at that pace. But you cannot build your business with a whole bunch of inactive people. Or you're wondering why you're not creating the points. People tell you who they are. People tell you who they are. You can do more to inspire an inactive person by your personal prospecting, your personal sponsoring, and creating new stories than you can in doing anything else. Wow, I sponsored Susie Q and she's never done direct selling. And wow, she's got a full-time job, 3 kids, 2 dogs. Bam, she got right to silver. Bam, she's building her business. Those kind of stories will do more to inspire people. And I will tell you something else. If you're trying to manage, if you're trying to whip inactive people into shape, you are not having a lot of fun. And I know it. All right? You're not having a lot of fun because it just isn't a lot of fun. It's way more fun working with excited people who are willing to act. So let's find them. I mean, for some of you, your focus is on people who don't respond, don't return your emails, won't even talk to you, and yet you're thinking, oh man, she's going to be good. Well, maybe, but at this particular moment, she's not even responding to your email. So what can we do? Keep talking to more people. Keep talking to more people. Do not slow down your pace to the pace of anybody that you sponsored. That's a moral to the story. Okay? You will know a runner when you sponsor him or her. Have you all sponsored someone who got to silver? Yeah? Didn't you know? Like, it's like when they are ready to act, don't you know? Wow, they're talking to people. Wow, they're asking me questions. Wow, they're doing 3-ways. Can't you tell when someone's in action as compared to not? Yeah. Like I got to a point after so many years that I could pretty much tell in the first 30 days. That doesn't mean people didn't surprise me, but I could pretty much tell in the first 30 days. Now I also hold them up for pace in the first 30 days. Like I learned not to play small. So again, we would have that getting started protocol of getting on the product, setting up their auto ship, setting a goal for silver as quickly as possible, making a list, telling your story, who can we talk to, having sip and sees or launch events or Zoom events or however you're going to get into their sphere of influence as quickly as possible. Remember that law of pace that we talked about? The faster to a win, the greater the odds are going to stick. I mean, there's really not a lot of magic. It's a lot of common sense to building a successful organization. Okay, finally, and then I want to open it up, and I'm conscious of your time. Let's think about a 90-day plan. Okay, let's write down what could be the basics of a 90-day plan. I never like to do skill set without doing a 90-day plan. When I'm in front of the room, I do the same thing. We finish the skill set summit and we do a little 90-day plan. We do it together. Okay, so if we look back on our 4 calls together, and I'm going to challenge all of you to grow your businesses. And Chris and I were talking, I can come back and do another class for you. But you must grow your businesses to earn it, right? Which is what you want to do anyway. So if we were going to do a 90-day plan, let's say we're going into 3rd quarter. So let's look at 3rd quarter. So July, August, September. That'd be an awesome 90-day plan. Okay. Where do you want your title to be 90 days from now? Where do you want your points to be 90 days from now? Where do you want your income to be 90 days from now? Okay, that's the results. So what do we got to do to make that happen? If we look at what we've talked about over 4 calls, okay, if we looked at our first call, we're going to make a commitment to personal development. Like get your head in the game, definitely. So one of the things on your 90-day plan would be a daily personal development practice, 15 to 30 minutes of reading, okay? If we were going to look at our third call when we talked about fundamentals, okay, have you put the fundamentals into practice? Did you package your story? Did you craft your plexus story so you have something good to say? Are you clear about your reason why? Is it compelling enough to move you to take action? Are you working a constant list or an ever-growing list? Or do you just keep messaging the same people over and over again? So you're working your list. Are you doing three-way calls with your sponsor and upline mentor? And are you teaching the people that you work with to do the same? Are you asking for referrals? How many referrals? How many new people are you going to talk to? How many three-way calls? How many sip and sees? How many virtual events? Are you delivering a balanced message? Products, business, business, products. When you sponsor someone, are you keen on the auto ship? Are you holding them up for silver as quickly as possible? Do you talk about fast start gold? I mean, these are all the activities that move you in the direction of those ultimate results. Did you figure out your ratio? How many people do we have to talk to in order to sponsor? Are you working that two-prong approach? Pay yourself first, working with the right people. Are you adding new people to your funnel every day, every week? Again, there's no magic. I mean, they're right there. That's a pretty darn good. How many events? How many sip and sees do you want to have? Launch events, virtual events. And if your group is having them, are you bringing guests? You showing up without guests? That's good. It's better than not showing up. Showing up with guests is much better. That's what the events are created for. So right there could be a very good 90-day plan. Right there could be a very good 90-day plan. All right, let's open it up for some takeaways, and then I have some final thoughts for all of you. So what was a takeaway from the call tonight? Just hit unmute and give me a takeaway. You're going to miss me when I'm gone. And I can't wait to hear the response, how you guys move through the summer. Come on, somebody unmute. There you go. Who's this?
Hi, Leslie. It's Tanya.
Hi, Tanya.
Hi. One thing that I am taking away tonight is tracking pace. I'm really looking forward to working with the most aggressive ratio. You know, I'm sure that I know Krista's filled you in, but the energy and the momentum has just been incredible. So I'm very excited about next steps for all of us. But that is something I can't wait to put into action.
Excellent. The numbers will blow your mind. And no matter whatever they come out with, like when I did the ratios the first time, Tanya, I think I was 1 in 13. When I left years later, I was 1 in 9. So, you know, you get better from experience, and you get better in how you talk to people. You get better in how you hold them up for, hey, if you want this, this is what we do. That comes from experience. And if you guys feel some momentum now, I don't want to hear any of this shit about slowing down over the summer, or I'm going to come out there and you're going to hear from me, right? If you guys are building some momentum, don't let it go flat. Don't let it go flat. I've already talked about the summer season and how summer isn't slow. People are slow. If you're building some momentum, which is awesome, build on it. Right? You don't need 40 hours a week. It's what you do in the hours that you have. Don't go to all this trouble to start building some momentum and then let it all go away just because the sun's shining. All right? Okay, fine. And I know it only shines for 60 days there, but that's okay. You can still, okay, maybe 90 days. You can still enjoy the summer season. Stay consistent with your business. I'm excited for you, Tanya. Good one. Okay, somebody else, a takeaway. What did you hear tonight?
Hi, it's Maria.
Hello, Maria. How are you, dear?
What I found, I've been trying to fit plexus into like the ends of my days and things like that. And I haven't been scheduling it in. So that's something I'm going to be working on, is scheduling certain times specifically for plexus.
Yep. It will change everything. All of a sudden, you intellectually and emotionally, you're going to think about it more like a business now than a hobby. Hobbies, we don't necessarily schedule. It's hobbies kind of like just something we do when we have some free time. No, this is a business that you're going to purposefully work it and build it and get the rewards.
Yeah.
Excellent. Yeah, it's a big deal. I can't wait to hear your response for that. Good one. I didn't bring my bell out because I came right from yoga. Okay, but I'm ringing the bell. I'm ringing the bell in my head. Someone else. Takeaway from tonight.
Hi.
Hi, Kelly.
Okay, I wasn't sure if I was on. What I have taken from this is, I'm really good at messaging all day and all night, and I've been making calls, and that is so much better. And it's a little harder, but I'm getting used to it, so that's great. So
why is it a little harder?
Well, it's easy to write everything down, but I can be trumped up on a lot of stuff about plexus, and I have a lot more to learn, but I'm doing better.
Excellent. Okay, so remember, the universe doesn't know when we're kidding or when we're not clear. So I don't want you to start defining the fact that it's harder talking to people. Okay? Shift that around. It's way more fun talking to people.
It is. But a lot of my friends are nurses, so I really need to know what I'm talking about. Or I think I do anyway.
Okay, so that's an excellent point. You know what? They don't know anything about plexus, so whatever you say is perfect. Okay? No one expects you to be a nurse. I had a lot of health professionals in my downline, and I learned to teach new people that you don't have to be a doctor to talk to a doctor. Okay? If they ask you a question that you don't know, you're going to say, hey, I don't know. Let me find out. Right? So
I have used that one. I've said there's a nurse on our team. She's from Woodstock. I will get to her, and I'll get back to you.
Exactly. No one's expecting you to know it all, right? The point with these nurses are, number one, they're going to learn how unique your products are. Number two, do you think they want to be a nurse for the rest of their lives? No. On their feet all day long? No. Not getting paid what they're worth? No. The longer you're in a hospital or in a doctor's office, the greater the odds you're going to get sick. You think they want to do that forever? No. When they could be home making more money with their plexus business. So keep the focus on the business and don't get bogged down like they got to go know all the nutrition and the science. It's not a question of whether your products work. It's a question of how interested they are.
True. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yep, we do. We get bogged down in that. Yep, just because they're a nurse doesn't mean they know shit about nutrition. How many overweight, high cholesterol, diabetic nurses do we know?
I've met most of them at areas for diets.
I'm telling you, like I said, and everyone in my family are health professionals, and I had a ton of health professionals and tons of nurses, and I admire anyone that would want to be a nurse, but truly, when you think about it, it's an enabling field. So these are people that give, and think of themselves last. That tends to be, not everyone, but tends to be part of it. And so just because they're a nurse doesn't mean they understand nutrition. They're not healthy. Let's help them get healthy, and let's help them get paid what they're worth.
I just get a little nervous, but I'm getting better.
Okay. Don't even focus on the nervous. You're totally fine. And this is why we do three-way calls. So you can collaborate with someone who has more experience. You hear 10 three-way calls, heck, you could talk to anybody.
Yeah.
All right. Excellent. All right. Love this class. All right, Krista, my friend, Bobby, did you want to say something? Nope. Yep.
I just want to say that I think my biggest takeaway from all 4-week sessions is that I've been lying to myself. I've been talking the talk, but I've not been walking the walk. And that's something that changes tonight.
Bobby, I admire your courage. I really do. Most people are in denial about that. I talked about dating for a year, but I was all talk and no action. But at least I knew I was all talk and no action, so I wasn't in denial. A lot of people are in denial about it, right? So when we're all talk and no action, the day we admit it, man, it's a total shift. So it doesn't matter what's happened in the past. Let's figure out what's been keeping you stuck, how your upline can support you. Just make a list of 5 and just take action, and everything will shift. So don't focus on the past, focus on moving forward. Promise? All right. Was that a yes? Okay, good. All right. Look at anyone that can work that red sparkly hat. I bet it's pink though, probably. It's probably Plexus pink. Anyone who can work that sparkly hat can talk to people. Oh, it is red. It looks red. All right. Anyone who can carry that off can build a business. All right, here are my final thoughts. My final thoughts are this. I've got a lot of final thoughts, but I think what I want to share with you, over the years, I've had the opportunity to interview, hundreds of top leaders. And one thing stood out in everybody's interview, certainly in their own way, in their own words, in their own tone, but every single one I talked to at some point in the interview, when they're talking about their journey to the top, everybody said that there was a moment. There was a moment when they made the decision. There was a moment then when they made the decision to do this. Even if they didn't know what that meant, they just made the decision to do it, to act, to commit. And I think that 100% commitment is necessary if you're going to build a successful business. So I want to leave you with the idea of, are you 100% committed? People confuse that. You don't need full-time hours. It's what we do in the hours that we have and the mindset that we have. That's why I say focus on the personal development and make the commitment. Make the commitment to be 100% committed in your part-time hours. And that will shift everything. Your belief, your confidence, and act. Action is what it's going to take. Find the joy in talking to new people. And you can build this thing as big as you want to build it. You've got a fabulous company, terrific products, perfect timing, excellent leadership with Krista. There is nothing holding you back except you. If you want to go faster, make the decision tonight to pick up the pace. You can't control a lot of stuff in our profession, that is for sure. But the one thing you can control is the pace of your business, your mindset, and your commitment. That is for sure. All right, my friends, I will stay in touch with Krista. She will share with me how you continue to build and grow your business. Krista, any final words, my friend?
No, that was just totally wonderful. It's always is, and so many great points that you gave us for tonight. So I'm really, really excited about what the summer's going to look like, and I know that they're going to just blossom even further than what they have.
Excellent. And I know so too. So let's you and I stay in touch so you can keep me up to date. I wish you all a wonderful summer and continued success, and I will look forward to seeing you next time. So take care.